Minecraft console turns 13 years old this week, and unlike the other two editions of Minecraft, the console edition was specifically fitted to each platform it was on, with a unique name and logo for each. Of the 7, the Wii U and Switch are definitely the oddballs, as they have exclusive features, the promise of extra functionality due to their form factors, and even a unique achievement system not seen anywhere else. It's also the first version to permanently lose access to online, as the Wii U servers shut down last year, and I'm sure the Switch isn't that far behind, and so as the console edition has now reached drinking age, at least where I'm from, I figured it'd be fun to dive into the weird Nintendo editions of the game, checking out nostalgic mashup pack worlds, the latest tutorial, and all of the other exclusives that you can find only here. On that subject, how did we get here? Because Minecraft releasing for Nintendo was far from guaranteed, especially in the early days, just after the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4 released, the next-gen copies of Minecraft. It seemed as though Mojang took a direct swipe at Nintendo by saying that they've actually fulfilled the need for console Minecraft, but now even going further as to say that we'll release wherever it makes sense and if the platform has the user base for it, because they don't want to release on a platform if the base is very small, because it's much too big of an effort. This seemed like a sideways swipe at the Wii U, which always was a console that sold very few. It seemed like Mojang was just going to wait until the next Nintendo console released. However, just a year later, Jeb did this interview.
What's next for Minecraft?
Well, we're doing great work to improve the combat mechanics.
Oh, looking forward to trying those out.
Yeah, and we're fixing the boats.
Wow, that's been a long time coming.
Yeah. And one more thing. Minecraft is coming to Nintendo Wii U.
Such a weird interview. But Jeb was true to his word here though, because just 10 days later, Minecraft released digitally on the Wii U, with the disc release following in 2016, and then weirdly enough, just a year after that, Minecraft Nintendo Switch Edition came out, and so the two versions obviously have a lot in common, but we're going to start with the Wii U Edition, because weirdly, it actually has more features than the Switch. We'll explain how that's possible later, but for now, let's load up the Wii U. This is not an easy task in 2025. I figured all I would need to do is get the cable out for the Wii U, get the cable out for the gamepad. It has a separate one that is unique to just this one Nintendo device, and then once I got both of these two things running, it would be easy. But nope, it was stranger than that, because once I loaded up my gamepad, it just refused to do anything. The touchscreen didn't work, the buttons didn't work, it was clearly connected and it was noticing the inputs, it just wasn't doing anything with them, so I borrowed a Wii Remote from my girlfriend and used this to navigate the menus, where I found out that Minecraft had an update. Okay, even more confusing, and even stranger than that is the fact that my Wii Remote stopped working once Minecraft had loaded up. This is because the game itself does not support Wii Remotes as a controller setup, but weirdly, this then led to my Wii U controller working just fine again. I then decided to test well, if I have enough internet to download an update, what would happen if I decided to try and play online? And let me just tell you, I regret that decision.
Oh no, I can't make that error code go away.
Yeah, the Wii U gamepad not working for the menu screens continues onto these error messages, which I could not get rid of in any way. I couldn't even load up the home screen to suspend the software, because the Wii U gamepad is just dead for all of that, which means I had to restart the console, and so if you notice in this video anywhere, there is an error, and I have to restart, that's why I'm so distraught. Although another part of the reason I could be so distraught is that the Wii U edition is very unique, and there are lots of these fun gameplay differences. I figured I would start by showing you those. Welcome to Minecraft Wii U Edition, which I'd like to remind you is a game, and I'd also like to remind you it's the most expensive version of Minecraft on a console, because the only way to buy it is to actually get the DLC bundle, and so you get 6 forms of DLC automatically included. This means that if you load up the game without any DLC purchased, unlike most console editions where you just have your default skins, side note, these are great, and Mojang put so much work in developing new ones when there already was diversity in the game, even more so, I would argue, but then we've also got, as you can see right here, access to the Super Mario Mashup Pack. This was free for all users on all platforms. Then the Battle and Beast Pack, as well as Battle and Beast 2, and then also you'll find in here the Festive Mashup Pack, but not the Festive Skin Pack. So you can be Fat Santa for free, but you're gonna have to pay if you want to be regular Santa. Not that you can do that anymore because there's no DLC options. But yeah, as well as the Festive Mashup Pack and the Super Mario Mashup Pack, there's also free default skin packs. Texture packs. I'm gonna have to make sure not to do it there. So when you create a new world, as well as having the option to, well, I can't create a new world. Wait. Why can't I create a new world? No, what? So when you create a new... Wait, what? 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 Oh, no. It's broken. So when you create a new world, I had a whole thing planned that I don't think we can do about the Nintendo Network. Yeah, do you see that? The join button is jumping up and down, but all of my saves are missing, and then none of the create new world buttons are working. Ah. But when you create a new world, you're meant to have access to the natural, city, and fantasy texture packs. Not that that matters if you can't have a world. Should I try exiting the game and restarting it, maybe? Small side note here, but I have Love Film installed, which I've actually forgot about. I think my parents had a subscription to it. It's an alternative to Netflix, where they decided, you know what, Netflix has gone into the streaming world. What if we really focused on the DVD rentals? And if you're curious, it's stopped existing since 2017, but I still have it here if I need it. But yeah, let's go back into Minecraft Wii U. I had to switch out my Wiimote to do this, but hopefully this time it runs a bit better. It's got a very cool loading screen, by the way. Not just in terms of that little key art, but then it's got this pixelated Mojang and 4J logo. But once we get past both of these, and we can go into the game, I can tell you that there is an update that's happened to the game. And then hopefully, maybe just... Really? None of the create world options work? Why? Maybe if we just load up another game first and come back to it. One debt to society later. Oh, that's a really weird bug, but thankfully if I just restart Minecraft, it should go away, right? But no, despite all my attempts to summon good luck from the atmosphere, I tried loading up the minigames, and it did not work. I tried loading up existing worlds, and they could not be found, and when I tried to create a brand new world, the best I could get to happen was the join text would change its size very slightly. I don't know what's wrong, but my Wii U is functionally just a paperweight now, because it can't even run Minecraft anymore. I genuinely don't know if it's my copy or everyone's, but I've yet to see anyone wanting to play this in 2025, so it's genuinely hard to tell. But if we want to mention all of the other things that are unique about the Wii U Edition, well, first of all, it's these new texture packs I was just saying, as well as the achievement screen, but even more unique than both of these is the fact that there was no world size options. Both of the next-gen versions of Minecraft on console had access to world size options, so instead of having a small world, you could have a medium or a large one, but on the Wii U, you were trapped at 864 by 864, like the Xbox 360 edition that launched almost 4 years before it. And so as a result, even though the Wii U is the more updated version of the game, the rest of this video will have to focus on the Switch edition. So let's make the switch, shall we, to the console, which has a surprisingly similar screen size, but which actually lets you play the game. I mean, I hope it lets me. Let's find out. Oh no, I do actually have Joy-Con drift here, it seems. Anyway, this is my Nintendo Switch, and just like anyone who bought Minecraft before late 2017, I actually have two versions of the game on my Switch. This is the Minecraft, which is known as Bedrock Edition today, and which is still getting updates, one of which is literally downloading as we speak, and this is Minecraft Nintendo Switch Edition, which interestingly got its last update somewhere around 2017, and so a fun fact about this is that the Nintendo Switch version of the game, its last update was the World of Color, while the Nintendo Wii U got the update Aquatic. This means that technically speaking, outside of the actual console itself and all of the benefits, the Nintendo Switch version of Minecraft, or Nintendo Switch edition of Minecraft I should say, actually has fewer features than that on the Wii U. But let's see if I can actually play a game. I'm going to try to play offline, and we're going to see, can I create a new world? Wow, I can! Oh. Again, Joy-Con drift is bad. But as you can see, look at this. Although you know me, I'd much rather load up an existing world so I can show some things off. I won't show off all of the texture packs which are available here, although there is a great deal of those. We'll come into content later. Instead, I'll just load up this survival world and I'll try and get an achievement in this version of the game. It's really fun because Minecraft, the Bedrock version on Switch, actually has achievements via Xbox Live. If you'll believe it, there is full Xbox Live support. I'm amazed Nintendo agreed to that. But interestingly, the Nintendo Switch Edition has achievements, but via its own built-in system. This was also used on the Wii U for what it is worth, but it means that if I want to get achievements, or if I want to show off my achievements, I have to come here, and if I want to get achievements, I have to come here and look to see which one is easiest for me to get. I think in an old world, it's probably going to be not playing for 100 days. Again, I'm amazed that that is an achievement. It feels like a YouTube trend, not an achievement. But then we've also got, I would say, crafting and placing a flower pot, or crafting and placing a sign. We'll see which of those I can do easier, because welcome to my Nintendo Switch Edition world. This has not been loaded up in... It's got to be at least 5 or 6 years. But let's go right into it, and I can show you my house. By the way, do you like it? It really is 2010s coded, right? Like this is an old style house and a bit, it's a house that I was trying to make look charming, and I would argue in a successful way. So let's go ahead in here. Let's hope that there's some wood in some of these chests. Man, oh, there we go, there is. And let's make ourselves a sign. So again, if you see my joystick just doing weird things, it is Joy-Con drift. It's a very common Switch issue. But again, at least my console is working. I'm going to take that as a win. And now let's find a crafting table. Oh man, I have all of this house, all of this space. But there's my crafting table. So now we can make a stick. And then we can go to wherever the signs are. I think it's over here. And no, where is the sign kept? It's been too long since I played Console Edition because I don't know. There it is. That's a sign. And so now the moment we place it, yeah, it's a sign. And I can hold X and it will load up the achievements menu from where I was, telling me that I just got that. So the achievement system is very unique to the Nintendo versions of the game. It was never used anywhere else because every other edition had either Xbox Live achievements or had trophies. And so, as a result, you just never really had to worry about it. But yeah, notably, you can get achievements in here, and it's fun that 4J had to code that just so that Wii U and Switch players wouldn't feel left out. Which is nice if you ask me. Speaking of not feeling left out, playing on the Nintendo Switch actually has... Oh, God. How did anyone... The Joy-Cons are just not built for this. Playing on the Nintendo Switch has all sorts of weird quirks to it. One of my favorites is actually in the controls here, because the Nintendo version of Minecraft is really odd. Unlike the other console editions, and unlike every other console, Nintendo consoles have the A and B buttons flipped, which means when we go to our controls to try and change them, you'll see that jump is technically the B button, because that's where the A or the X button is on a PlayStation and Xbox, and the drop is the A button. The same is true for inventory and crafting, but even weirder is the fact that there is actually a button that you can use to block with a sword. I've blocked this from my memories. I forgot that you could block with the swords in Minecraft Console Edition because it's not been possible in Bedrock forever, and it's not been possible in Java since 2015, but here in the Nintendo Switch Edition, which came out just a year after Wii U and indeed quite late in the Console Edition saga, you can see that, interestingly enough, there is a sword which has both functions available. What a throwback this is. Speaking of throwbacks, I think that if you've ever played a Minecraft Console Edition, you'll remember that the having one map is basically the bounds of everything, but I've made a creative copy of this same world that I just was in Survival, and I've got my Pro Controller out so I can actually fly without the Joy-Con drift moving me around everywhere. And what I'm going to show you is not just the fact that, like, I can't swim in water, there is no update aquatic here, but also I want to show you what happens as I fly around this world. So as we can see, flying around the world, all of these biomes are not that far off regular Minecraft size, but still notably different. Look at this mushroom biome as we go past it, look at this plains biome and the taiga forest next to it. Every biome is kind of like they've got the biome scale set to low or small that you might find on the other versions of the game, and what's even more interesting is the actual draw distance. What draw distance is called in Minecraft is render distance, and although it takes a while to come in, because Minecraft Console Edition has double as quick flying as both Java and Bedrock, which means you can get across your world quickly, but you might encounter some loading issues along the way. But notice something interesting here. I'm going to sit on this mountain here, and I can see a mountain all the way over there, and another one all the way out there. Check our Z coordinate, which you can do on your map, by the way, and you'll see we're at 472, and that mountain, which is at the very edge of my draw distance, is at about Y600, we could say, almost exactly 128 blocks away. This means that the Switch edition of Minecraft, the one made by 4J, gets a smooth 60 FPS at all times, while actually having 8 chunks of render distance. And you know where this is going if you're a Switch player, but we'll come back to it later, because for now, I also want to point out the fact that yes, you can go all the way past Z480, which means unlike the 360, PS Vita, Wii U, and PlayStation 3 versions of the game, you can actually have decently sized worlds on the Switch. But unlike the Xbox One and PlayStation 4, which also have world size options, the Switch has to be even more unique, because look what options we have. Unlike the Xbox One and PlayStation 4, which have 3 world options plus classic, so I'm pressing B again, by the way. I always mess up the menus. But unlike those versions, which just have classic, small, medium, and large, if we try to play on our Switch, by the way, if you try to connect online, what it says is, oh yeah, we can connect online, but it seems like you're not paying. So it's just, effectively the game pesters you every time you go anywhere, like, oh, why are you doing this about online? You know you could have online right now if you just paid us some money. Very frustrating experience in my opinion. But if we go to create a new world, you'll notice that we have the survival and creative options, the difficulties, like you'd expect, but then here's the world size. It goes medium, small, classic. There is no option to have a large world size because the Switch could not handle it, both in terms of how they expected the world to deal with the RAM, etc., but also more interestingly in terms of your storage, because you'll notice that there is a limited amount of storage which you can have on the Nintendo Switch. This is because Switch games are apparently limited to how much storage they can put on your device, which means that if you play one Switch world for too long, or if you play too many different Switch worlds for not that long, you can actually fill up your storage and run out of everything. Also, by the way, I say that Minecraft Switch gets a constant 60 FPS, but one of my favorite things is that the console editions of the game, to try and prevent you from... one of the ways that they have made it a solid 60 is they stop you from having too many mobs. So this is a world that I made back in the day to really push the Switch edition to its limits, and as you can see, it's running pretty decently. However, that comes at a cost. Here are a bunch of ocelots and baby mushrooms in a cage. If I try to place any more of these, the game will say, nah, you've reached the spawn cap for all of those animals, or nah, you've reached the spawn cap for ocelots or mushrooms, and even more interestingly, there is actually a limit for how many item frames you can place. Oh, as you can see, they've got a very short render distance here because there's only so many item frames the game wants to have on screen at one time, which is a really interesting way of dealing with it, but also very strange, right? The same is true for item frames and armor stands and minecarts and boats. Your world was very severely capped to make sure that performance stayed in one piece. Something I'm sure Minecraft Switch users are definitely desperate for right now. But yeah, this is one of the other weird quirks of the Nintendo versions of the game. Their caps had to be quite low, but it meant that you could have a solid running version of Minecraft, which I think is worthwhile personally. Speaking of things that are worthwhile personally, let's leave this game, because let's check out the other weird options you'll only find in the Nintendo Switch edition of the game. The first of these is telling you to download the new version of Minecraft for free! And this is the most, to me, it's the cringiest thing. You can tell Microsoft really wanted to push Bedrock, because on all platforms that have this button, they made it double as wide. It's like the Marketplace button, where they think, you know what, people aren't going to buy things from the Marketplace unless we make it clearer than the other options. And speaking of the Marketplace, there is no Marketplace in the Switch edition. There is the Minecraft Store, which will load up the Nintendo eShop. Did it always used to be red? I feel like that must have had an update. But in the Nintendo eShop, instead of saying there are 16,000 things for purchase, you can just individually buy the things that you want. And all of these were made by, or if not made by 4J Studios, at least released by 4J Studios. And so what is the total cost of all content? I imagine it's actually quite high. So Minecraft, you can only buy 10 things at a time. Well, the maximum cost of content is somewhere around £100, which is literally less than 1% of what you can spend on the Marketplace, and everything you could have bought was of a higher quality. Obviously, Minecraft decided this was not the system they wanted going forwards, which is why they let people like me release things on the Marketplace. Anyway, the important thing here is to note that there is one other cool exclusive I haven't showed off yet, and it is the myth, the legend itself, the tutorial world. I loaded one up just now to see how this actually went, and interestingly, once we initialize our server, I always thought that's one of the weirdest. Loading times have never been the console edition's strong suit, but we're getting in here, right? But as you can see, the tutorial world that they have is this one right here. So the tutorial in most games is like this thing that you just want to skip. It's it's like, it's a nightmare you have to go through as quickly as possible. The tutorial world in Minecraft Console Edition was actually genius in my opinion, because it actually updated every time Minecraft had an update to teach you about new mechanics like beacons, or fireworks, indeed they were new at one point, but also notably, the tutorial would have brand new builds, so it'd be exciting to actually look around, and even more fun than that, the tutorial world would have a music disc hunt, meaning that the tutorial was one of the first things many people wanted to check out after an update came out. Again, I feel like if Minecraft had an idea this good today, Mojang would start charging money for it each time it came out, because it's one of those great successes of content that actually made people want to check out an update, even if they didn't care about anything inside of it. I think these are the sorts of ideas that are smart personally, but I'm Waluigi, I would say that, right? So yeah, this is the tutorial world. It is the latest tutorial, if I'm not mistaken, which means that after this point, I guess 4J stopped updating it as much. Or maybe it's not the exact same. I feel like I've been here before but it feels different. You know? Anyway, just in case anyone out here has played the Nintendo Switch version of Minecraft, but never played the console Switch version of Minecraft, the non-Bedrock version, did you know when you use the Elytra, it actually like shifts your vision as you turn? Effectively, you do a barrel roll. Again, another console feature they just declined to take for the rest of the game, which is a shame because the end fight that Minecraft has now is not the end fight it started with. The end fight that exists on Java kind of sucked until Jeb saw the console end and thought, oh, yeah, this is a better idea, which is why we have those end towers. Fun fact. But anyway, I'm done showing off weird, quirky features for the Nintendo Switch. Now let's move on to one of the other fun things, which you'll find on both the Wii U and Switch versions. Because, interestingly, the Switch Edition takes an attitude of try it, perfect time text by the way, to all of their mashup packs, which means unlike the Bedrock version of Minecraft, where, let's be honest, about half of players just never interact with DLC, you have to pay it to get it, there's no refund process, there's no way to try before you buy, the Console Edition took the exact opposite tact, which means if we try to load up the Skyrim pack here, despite me not owning it, I'm pretty sure, I can still load up the trial texture pack version of the game. This means I can still have full access to all of the contents, I just can't save my progress. This is an amazing compromise and is one of the most consumer-friendly things Minecraft has ever done, which maybe is why it was discontinued not long after the Microsoft acquisition. But interestingly, now if we load up Minecraft Skyrim Edition, we will have, again, consider how long ago that this was pulled off. Skyrim came out in 2011, and the Skyrim DLC was just a few years after this. One of the biggest games of all time just agreed to lend not just their skins to Minecraft, not just textures of the game, but the rights to make a full Skyrim-themed world, and the 4J guys really went at it. Again, this is the sort of collab that would blow people's minds today. Look at me, I'm Waluigi hanging around in the Skyrim world. This is the sort of thing that would literally blow people away, but it was just something they did for not that much money back when this was released. I'm amazed, by the way, this is Riverrun. If you played Skyrim, you'll know exactly what we're looking at, but I think that immediately when you see this build up here, just immediately some memories are pouring back, right? Like, oh yeah, this is the stuff. And then you get to hear your Skyrim music, because that's all been licensed too. The fact that this ever managed to exist, and has a music disc hunt that is all got these little Skyrim-themed discs, the fact that this managed to exist is crazy, and just having this music play while in Minecraft seems impossibly nuts. But here I am. And yeah, you know, this is the village I always think about when, you know, you talk to the guard, and unlike in Oblivion where they call you criminal scum, here they tell you about the injuries they sustained to their knees, something that could happen to you realistically in Minecraft. But yeah, I think that this is a absolutely delightful village to have found. I think it's so incredible that this ever came about, and again, it actually ushered in an era of mashups. Let's show you some of the other interesting ones. So I would say this is definitely people's first favorites, but for some, that would be the Halloween mashup pack. Again, this is quite the surprise for many, because honestly, Halloween just started as a charity skin pack back in 2012, if I'm not mistaken, which was followed by a more permanent Halloween skin pack, which then had the Halloween texture pack, and then all of a sudden they decided, you know what, people love Halloween in Minecraft, let's make a full-on mashup. This is, I would say, the most fun to play. It's got roller coasters everywhere. Again, it's based around a haunted fun fair. I loved this mashup pack, and I spent hours trying to find all the discs. It was the first one that I truly did in survival, despite the ridiculous challenge that came with it. So much to love here, so much to say that is great, and for now I'll just say, spooky music, spooky textures, spooky skins, what's not to love? Also, what is that doing? What did I just achieve? I'm really not sure. But what I am sure of is the fact that, yeah, the Halloween mashup pack is such a cool one. This giant pumpkin is just what I think about when it comes to Halloween in Minecraft. And for them to have pulled that off so effectively, super cool. Halloween's, you know, 4J are Scottish. Halloween's not even a British holiday usually. I basically every time I went around. Every single 31st of October, I'm always prepared. I've not seen a trick-or-treater at my home in, like, 9 years. And I went trick-or-treating once as a 17-year-old just to see what would happen. If you're curious, everyone rolled their eyes a bit, but did in fact give me sweets. But yeah, I feel like Halloween's not big in the UK, but despite that, we got one of the best pieces of Halloween content right here from a British studio. Oh, I love these pumpkins on the save buttons, by the way. Adventure Time in Minecraft is something that excited so many. I think Adventure Time is one of those series that I was just slightly behind the curve on, because everyone who is, 2 to 3 years younger than me immediately loved this and thought, oh my god, Adventure Time had finally come to Minecraft. And so yeah, being able to experience Adventure Time, and I guess to some people, Steven Universe was a similar thing, but being able to experience that inside of Minecraft, super, super cool. And even if you don't like Adventure Time, I still really appreciated this texture pack. I think it's kind of great, and the vibes that they got going in this world are just so incredible in so many ways. But again, I can say Adventure Time was cool when it came out. It just wasn't my personal favorite, unlike the Halo mashup pack. Man, I thought this was so cool because they released it and it was already a fun kind of homage to Halo. There's single player bits, there's multiplayer maps, but then they actually updated it years later, and then even crazier, in my opinion, is the fact they released it right here on the Switch. Now, back in the day of mashup packs, they had to release some piece of content only on some platforms, so the Halo mashup pack was only available on Xbox, the Little Big Planet was only available on PlayStation, and the Super Mario mashup pack was only available here on Nintendo. However, the Microsoft, as part of their olive branch Nintendo, decided to release the Halo mashup pack right here, and so I can play in a Halo-themed world with Halo Blast. Again, if you want to look at the bows, I think this is incredible personally. Look at this, oh man, look at this. This is such a cool thing. But you can play in a Halo-themed world against Halo-themed enemies right here on your Nintendo Switch. This was something never reciprocated by either Sony or Nintendo, and it seems as though Minecraft themselves got in some legal issues with both the Halo mashup and Skyrim and Fallout, which is why you can't actually buy Minecraft Halo Edition anymore. Instead, it's called the Master Chief mashup pack. Again, I think it's like the weirdest thing that apparently does have legal ramifications behind it. But yeah, as it turns out, one of people's favorite mashup packs was Halo, at least for me. This was probably very top of my list, but there's one that I think tops all of these last four, especially for anyone playing on the Wii U, because the most incredible announcement came alongside that version of the game. It wasn't just going to come out with all of those fun little textures I mentioned before and the skin packs that I've mentioned, but they also built an entire world from scratch, because this is Super Mario meets Minecraft. Amazingly enough, it seems as though Nintendo, so this isn't a trial version, because Nintendo seems to have insisted that this not be charged for, and so what might be the greatest mashup pack of all time, what definitely took hours for artists to take Nintendo characters, put them into Minecraft skins, and then get approval. Again, think about the corporate bureaucracy of working with a Japanese company with their most valuable assets, but they got put into Minecraft, and then even crazier, it's just free. Included in the price of the game, I guess if we want to be cynical, it's complimentary. But what's amazing to me is the fact that this is such a good world that comes with all of these skins. Again, I don't just get to be Waluigi. If you want, I can bounce over to Lemmy or Wendy. Again, I can't. I don't know how they decided which characters you can and can't be, but I can be Toadette or Birdo. Look at me, I'm Birdo now. Anyway, I feel like this is one of the most shocking things, and the fact that it's just here, it's kind of like languishing, in my opinion, is one of the real interesting quirks of the Minecraft Nintendo saga. This got officially commissioned, this got officially made, and it makes you wonder what other sorts of, co-branded content they could make if they wanted to. Right now, you can play this on Bedrock, but it's limited exclusively to when you're playing with only Switch players. If an Xbox or PlayStation or PC or phone person tries to join you, you won't be able to play this content or use these skins anymore. That's how protective Nintendo is of its IPs. If you're playing on an Xbox, you shouldn't be able to even see me as Birdo, because then you might want to buy a Nintendo Switch less. Again, Japanese company bureaucracy. But yeah, let me show you some of my favorite highlights from this world, because I played a fair few Super Mario games, and they feel like they're all represented here. Oh, we have to be careful with the music. Nintendo copyright strikes you for it. I forgot about that. Okay, so first of all, we have this little bit of a retro throwback to the older games, where you had a world select screen that you had to roll through, and yeah, we've got this kind of fun thing with the Toad shops, etc. We've even got a giant Toad statue, because they had to give even more to that. Also, by the way, I'm loving the Super Mario 64 music, but it's not just music. Yeah, that's right, this is the castle from Super Mario 64. it might look a little wonky because I put it into vanilla textures just to show you that this is a real world built from Minecraft blocks that they then decided to whack their own textures on top of. And fun fact, you can now fly. Anyway, as you can see, that is how they pulled this off, and it's amazing. Again, I think when you're looking at it like this, it doesn't really feel like Minecraft, but seeing that with all of that turned off is just kind of nutty. Anyway, this is the castle from Super Mario 64. I've spent so many happy hours in my childhood, in school, and we weren't allowed to go on certain websites, so I downloaded a Nintendo 64 emulator and got the 120 stars for the first time. But even crazier is what happens when we follow this pipe to the very end, because I was expecting to find Bomb on Battlefield. Wait. Oh, it took me to nowhere. But I was expecting to find Bomb on Battlefield, but what I instead found was this beautiful PT Piranha and this Delfino Plaza. Oh, again, I feel like Sunshine is many people's, dark sheep of the Nintendo family. I think it's a great game, personally. I had a wonderful time playing it, and I've even played it, I think, a couple of times on this channel at this point. I love Super Mario Sunshine, and so to see this built, even if it's just a little side piece here, is amazing. And again, it's free, not just to check out, but it's free if I want to build with this or change it or do anything else like that. And that is just incredible. The joy I feel every time I'm in here is, this is how my face looked when I first found out that they built Delfino Plaza. And still to this day, I'm still kind of a bit shocked. Also, look, Corona Mountains over here. Oh, it's got fun. Yeah, they've even got this whole thing here with, at the end, a music disc, because every single one of those has it. The music disc hunt lives on, and I just love the attention to detail put into so many aspects of this version of the game. There's lots of things you don't even appreciate till years later. But yeah, that represents the mashup packs. Hopefully some of these builds have really awakened something inside of you. But now it's time to go into the unique features, because I've gone into most of those for the Wii U, and they are shared between it and the Switch, but there technically are a couple of unique ones. I think the first and most interesting one, by the way, is the fact that, you actually can import your worlds from the Wii U Edition. It's called Transfer Save from Wii U, and I can't... Oh, it has to be running on the same network. So actually, it might work even now. If you have your Wii U Edition running, then you would be able to do this. But I don't have my Wii U running, as we have extensively discussed. And so, yeah, that's the first interesting feature. The second is the ability to change your network mode while you're here. I'll set it to local network, and now the game will stop bugging me about Nintendo Switch Online. Oh, that's cool, isn't it? I wish I'd done that earlier in the video, actually. But yeah, as there are no Nintendo Switches on my network, I can't show you that. But then here's the other interesting thing. If we go into... So something fun about this is if we load up our world again, let's go back to the creative copy of this world from forever ago. Let me show you something interesting about it. So this is the exact same area I showed you before. As you can see, the edge of my render distance, about 8 chunks away, is that mountain over there. However, for this entire video, I've been showing you my Nintendo Switch. It's going to be the Nintendo Ditch in about 2 weeks now, because there's going to be a new version of it coming out. I'm looking forward to playing Minecraft Switch 2. But I have my Nintendo Switch docked right now, and so what's interesting about that is that this is actually the higher performance version of Minecraft on the Switch. If you are to undock the Switch... Okay, let's do this. This is my Switch, and when I undock it, immediately, as you can see here, it's actually had to reload all of these chunks, and I cannot see that mountain anymore. Even if I move to the very front of this... Oh god, I hate these Joy-Cons. But even from here, I can't see it, because there is a slightly lower render distance on the Switch while it is undocked. This is the sort of thing that just guarantees that you'll get a little bit more battery life and a little bit better performance, because the Switch runs at a lower clock speed while it's undocked. So yeah, if I go a little bit forward, you can sort of see the start of the mountain. I would guess that it's still 6 or 7 chunks of render distance, which is very, very decent. Especially when we compare it to the version of Minecraft that came along to replace it. So this is the exact same world that I've actually converted over from Switch Edition to, obviously, the new Minecraft. And as you can see, I can see that mountain over there, and so things are looking good, right? However, you'll notice that instead of looking and being able to see a square like before, you see more of a circle. So you actually see slightly less render distance this way, Also, it deliberately won't load behind you, which can be quite jarring for some people. But even more interestingly is the fact that it's actually variable on these platforms. So it decreases when you load, which is interesting by itself. And also, if we scroll into here, you can see this is me with the maximum render distance, whereas many people, especially if you have older worlds but you've been playing it for longer, actually won't be able to have it be anywhere near that good, and so end up playing on 6, 5, or 7 chunks, which, just to mention, this is what 5 chunks looks like. This is the reason why Nintendo Switch Minecraft is probably not going to support the brand new vibrant visuals. Just as a fun fact for you right there. Hate to rub some salt in the wound, but yeah, if we're going to be talking about vibrant visuals, now is the time to talk about the discontinuation of Minecraft Nintendo Switch Edition. Oh look, I'm an ocelot again. I've changed skins so many times in this video. Mario on trial is my last save file here. So this is my oldest Minecraft Nintendo Switch survival world. I doubt that it's survival from what I have on me, my 106 levels, and my 7 creeper spawn eggs. Oh look, they've been updated even here. But you know what's fun about this is the fact that I'm going to talk to you about the discontinuation of Minecraft. Because Minecraft Switch Edition was a great version of the game, but as Minecraft really rolled out their strategy of one Minecraft for all platforms, Minecraft Switch Edition was replaced by Minecraft brackets Switch Edition. And so this Minecraft now allows you to play with people from all other platforms, as long as you're not a Nintendo skin. It allows you to enjoy all of the benefits of Bedrock, including unlimited infinite worlds, as well as all of the fun downsides, I guess, that we could say. And yeah, what's interesting is that this meant that the Switch Edition, if you count it as a standalone version of Minecraft, actually had the shortest support of any Minecraft edition ever released. They released the first version of it in 2017, and the last update in it in 2018, because again, the Bedrock version had replaced it by this point. This means that it's actually even shorter lived than the 3DS edition, and it also means that if we use that metric of a serious major version of Minecraft that was released and then the last update for it, the 3 shortest supported editions ever are the Switch, the 3DS, and the Wii U. Not a great track record for Minecraft on Nintendo. However, it is worth mentioning there are dozens of people still playing Minecraft on their Switches today. Some of them even enjoy it. And yeah, there is, of course, the Switch 2 just on the horizon, which then gives us the interesting question of what is the future of Minecraft going to be like? Many people ask themselves, are we going to get an official 4J port? But I hate to tell you that they've long since moved on to working on Reforge. Even if we wanted to, even if Microsoft asked them to, I'm sure it would be a tricky ask. But the reality is, Minecraft for the Switch will likely work on the Switch 2 from day one, and then we'll get a dedicated version sometime after that. Based on the release of native PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X versions, this isn't coming anytime too soon. The minimum time span you should expect is months, and realistically more like years. But Minecraft on Nintendo Switch is going strong as long as you're playing this one particular version of the game, and as long as you don't mind. By the way, when I loaded up the menu here, I made a joke about how the Minecraft Marketplace button is always trying to entice you in. Literally, it's got an ad for Disney in there right now. But anyway, yeah, the Nintendo Switch 2 brings new opportunities to the Minecraft fold, and I'm really excited to see what those are. Personally, I would love to have a Minecraft version working on Nintendo, which is able to support vibrant visuals, which is able to have more than 12 chunks of render distance, and which is much more than just the thing that you dump on your niece and nephew, but instead a very serious and cool version of Minecraft. Because let's be honest, as you can see from Mario on trial, there is so much cool content which is locked into Nintendo, and so I would love to see a way for that to work for everyone. Oh, that was very strange. The loading screen has changed literally 3 times in the course of loading up this world. But yeah, my overall thoughts from today are that, one, man, the Wii U I always forget about just how rough of an experience it is. Number 2, it's the fact that the Switch version of Minecraft is shockingly similar to the Wii U one. And 3, it's the fact that both of these versions sort of bring, for the first time outside of the PlayStation Vita, a way to play Minecraft a full version on a handheld. Sure, technically speaking, the Bedrock allows that now. I'm going to die, by the way. Oh, it was a stray that got me in the end. Sure, Minecraft has been playable for forever on your phones, and even now you get the full version of Bedrock, but many people aren't that comfortable using touch controls, and so for many, having a home console version of Minecraft that then can be brought on the go is incredible. In fact, actually, I'll go a step further and I'll mention one of my personal favorite examples of this is I used the Wii U edition of Minecraft to build my console edition battle minigame replica, because by having a screen which I could put on my desk while using my main TV screen to actually build it, it allowed me to have two versions of Minecraft running at the same time, and I think that that just wouldn't have been anywhere nearly as possible or fun using a phone. Anyway, the big questions about how this will go in the future, that was a wild looking Enderman. Why is he a shy guy on stilts? Anyway, the interesting question that I think will have to be answered is how does Minecraft work on the Switch 2? And I guess I'll have to get my pre-order in to find out exactly what that's like. But for now, I hope that you found this video to be useful or fun, or realistically a dive back into the past of Minecraft on the Switch. I am still shocked that it was just, like 8 years ago now that, the 4J Studios were tweeting out like, hey, we've been working on something, and now here we are talking about the long since discontinued version. It makes me wonder, given that Minecraft has just turned 16 itself, makes me wonder where we'll be in another 8 or 16 years. That is something that is very exciting to think about. For now, though, thank you very much for watching. I hope you all enjoyed. And just like the Switch edition, I've now died. Goodbye. Just like my Wii U too, really.